We come now to the Amidah, in the spirit of Shavarim, separation and distinction. In the opening words of the Amidah, we give thanks to the God of our patriarchs and matriarchs, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Sarah, and so on. But our ancestors give us more than their understanding of God. They gave us the tools to cultivate our own understanding of the divine. Now, we all have ancestors. For some of us, they're the people whose DNA we carry. For others of us, they are other people who raised us and loved us and brought us into adulthood. For others of us, they are teachers and mentors and coaches and guides who helped us along our way. Whoever our ancestors might be, our job is to inherit them and transcend them. Martin Buber tells the story of Reb Noach, who became the leader of the Solanomer Chassids after the death of his father, Reb Mordechai. Now, Reb Noach didn't do things quite the way his father did. For some prayers, he preferred to stand where his father would sit. For some prayers, he preferred to be outside when his father preferred to be inside. For some of his learning, he preferred to learn some of the Kabbalah instead of some of the Talmud. And his Chassids were outraged. They said, Reb Noach, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing what your father did? And Reb Noach looked at them utterly perplexed. He said, what are you talking about? I'm doing exactly what my father did. My father searched his heart to understand how he and the men and women of his generation could best serve the divine. And so too, I search my heart to understand how best I and the men and women of our generation can serve the divine. I do exactly what my father did. We need to learn from our ancestors and also differentiate ourselves from them. This is part of the work of Shavarim, separation. When Ellen chants the beginning of the Amidah, I invite you to conjure in your mind the face of one of your ancestors and consider 3 attributes of theirs that you want to consciously and deliberately bring with you into this new year. And then I want to invite you to think about 3 attributes of theirs that you deliberately and consciously want to leave behind in this year that has passed. After Ellen concludes chanting, we'll hear from BHA member Sergio Perez some thoughts on the things we take and the things we leave behind from our ancestors. Sergio teaches art here at Beacon High School and lives in Beacon with his wife Lauren and their children Atticus and Sochi.
Misod Chachamim uvonim umilemed dat mevinim Eftecha pi בתפילה ובתחנונים לחלות ולחנן פני מלך מלכי המלכים ואדוני האדונים זוכרנו לחיים מלך חפץ בחיים וכתבנו בספר החיים למענך אלוהים חיים זוכרנו לחיים מלך חפץ בחיים וכתבנו בספר החיים למענך אלוהים חיים מלך עוזר ופוקד ומושיע ומגן ברוך Ata Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ufoked Sarah.
Hi, my name is Sergio Perez. Thanks for letting me share my thoughts on separation and distinction with you. Despite growing up in a military household, in our home, my mother always spoke of and encouraged the idea that everything was up for discussion and reflection. Indeed, in our shared Jewish heritage, situations arose where ancestors debated, discussed, and recorded these instances. Over time, it became clear that further reflection, consideration, compelled us to act on what no longer served us or brought value to a given situation. As an educator, I frequently consider the intent and values I bring to my work, and I'm grateful to my own teachers and mentors from the past who have supported me on my path. Over the years, though, there are many times where it's become clear that some lessons and approaches need to be let go or re-examined in favor of the needs of a given class or group of students. Indeed, if shared learning as a whole is to be transcendental over the transactional, it demands it. One outdated belief that was imparted to me, by my family, some parts of my family, and deserves to be let go, was the old saying that children should be seen and not heard. And I would argue that now more than ever, that creating space for youth to use their very separate and distinct voices at home, school, in their communities, can only strengthen our approach, our shared approach to progress and challenges, both presently and in the future. I wish you a happy and healthy New Year. Hashanah Tova.